Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping episode 3 of season 2 of P-Valley, and the girls dropped this right on in. Roulette was like, let's get to this money, and she committed to breaking several of Uncle Clifford's rules throughout this entire episode. Number one, performing fellatio in the boom boom room. And she was like, listen, how much you trying to pay? Then she was showing boobs on the main stage. Then she was obviously dipping off, on some Ronnie from Players Club type stuff. And, again, this is a safe space for sex workers, but we don't break Uncle Clifford's rules around here, okay? I also really don't like how Roulette be coming in my girl Mercedes. Mercedes is in a financial decline. She's not bringing in the coins like she used to. She had, the shoulder injury. She's noticing that these girls are clearly outshining her, and she's in a place where I think that she's just feeling a bit jaded and looking for what her other options are. So she goes to visit her gym. The gym is still incomplete. And then there are several other businesses in the plaza that are closing down around her. So she's like weighing her options and considering like, what is she going to do next? So she decides to reach out to Coach, her old flame, to ask if the offer to sponsor her still stands, meaning that he would get her a condo. He'd give her like a monthly allowance. She can come sit at whatever the sports ball games are. I don't even remember. And initially, when she was like the star of the club, this was just, the offer was like, I don't know, da-da-da-da. Now it's looking like that might be her best option. So she reaches back out to see if the offer still stands. He says yes, she wants to negotiate. And I just want to be very clear that if you're going to be a mistress, this is the kind of mistress you need to be. Because don't nobody want to end up on Snapped. Don't nobody want to end up the subject of a podcast where two white women are discussing your murder because this man's wife took you out the game. So if you gonna mistress, this is how you mistress. So she shows up at the condo. Coach and his wife, Farrah, are there. Farrah is not feeling Mercedes at first. And can you blame her? But this is very much, that's my man and I'm going to stick beside him. So I guess if this is, that's where they are in their marriage, she's like, as long as I'm informed, I suppose. So there are NDAs to be signed, negotiations to be made. And again, I'm here for it. Everyone's on board. What I really, really enjoy about Mercedes is that she peeped that Farrah didn't really like her. And this is something that I have noticed about dancers when I've been in the club with them. I typically go to the strip club with my guy friends because they have more money than me. And it's just more fun to go to the club, especially being from Atlanta. There's no fun to be had in the strip club when there isn't money to be thrown. And I don't have enough disposable income where I can toss a significant amount of money. So I always go with my homeboys. And I've always really liked how respectful the dancers have always been of me, engaging what my relationship is with the guys that I'm with. And I love that she was able to compliment Farrah on her photography and validate her as a professional photographer, and also kind of checked Coach on like, don't diminish her in that way. This really took an artistic eye. This really got them on a level playing field. And in terms of discussion of like, girl, you getting a better deal than me because I have to lay up under him almost every night and I'm not getting what you getting. So Farrah then becomes kind of seduced by Mercedes, and actually becomes seduced by Mercedes. Meanwhile, back in Chucalissa, her daughter Terricka is going through some shit at home where her mom, because again, pandemic, parallel universe, her mom is out of work and has resorted to alcoholism. So Terricka has been driving illegally, we find out, to Patrice Woodbine's church to get a couple of boxes of food because obviously her mom isn't taking care of her. Mercedes isn't really her full-time caregiver either. And she calls Mercedes a couple of times. Mercedes is like, look, I'm working. She doesn't really know what the situation is at the time. Patrice Woodbine is the worst kind of person. I despise her in a deep, deep way. I do not like people who try to be holier than thou, but who are terrible, terrible people. I want to put Patrice Woodbine in the face so bad. I did not like how she was talking to Terricka. I didn't like anything about that. I despise that woman. So in the midst of this threesome, that gets popped off because Coach really wants Farrah to see why he's so enthralled by Mercedes, really wants her to see the Mercedes experience. She gets really into it. And I mean, can you blame her? Mercedes fine as hell. And she's personable. Now, is she a little country? Is she a little rough around the edges? Absolutely. That's part of her charm. That's a part of her charm. That's part of the whole package. So this threesome gets interrupted because Terricka gets arrested for driving underage while her mom is drunk in the back seat, and Mercedes has to come to the rescue. Now, as Mercedes is trying to bring, what's her name, Shell, Terricka's mom, back to life, a drunk mind speaks sober thoughts, and she talks about while Terricka is in earshot, unbeknownst to them, how Mercedes was underage and seduced her husband, and she's been so loyal to this man. And all this time, Mercedes has been thinking that it was Shell, or is her name Shell or Nell? I can't remember. Sorry, guys. Who didn't want her to have custody of Terricka. It was actually her husband who, with his last dying breath, was like, please don't give my child to Mercedes, which that couldn't have felt great, and Mercedes always felt that, as a dancer, nobody was going to give her a kid anyway, because they were going to assume that she was an unfit mother. I'm really uncomfortable with the storyline of Mercedes lying to an older man about her age and tricking a man into ultimately committing statutory rape, because if she was 15, she was not old enough to consent. And that's when we're in this space where we're now talking more openly about the adultification of Black girls, and that people assume that young Black girls know what they're doing by being with older Black men. I really, really don't like that we have Mercedes who intentionally misled an older man to thinking that she was older than she was. I don't know what we're supposed to make of that. I'm still sitting with it, but it makes me really uncomfortable. But we also are very clear with who Mercedes' mom is. Patrice Woodbine is absolute trash. So in a lot of ways, yes, Mercedes is still a victim of a really shit household, but I'm really uncomfortable with that being a thing of, I can't help it, I started developing early, so yeah, I lied about my age. That's a myth to me that people really promote in terms of seeing in the conversation of underage girls being raped, being molested by older men. I'm not comfortable with that storyline. Obviously, neither is Terricka, and she wants to know, well, why did you never come back for me? Why did you abandon me? And, you didn't remain 18. Even when you got older, you didn't come back for me. And this whole thing about her being a dancer, she's just not buying that as an excuse. So it feels like Terricka has been failed by two mothers. So my heart really went out to her with this episode. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the Dirty Dozen tour is well underway. I love the content footage of Lil Murda and Keyshawn. I thought that was so dope. It was giving Hype Williams, but elevated cinematography and artistic flair. I absolutely loved it. I rewound it a couple times. I'm also so excited anytime I see Big Frida. I forgot to mention last episode that we saw our girl Meg, the former club DJ, is working with Megan Thee Stallion in Atlanta within the universe of Chuckalisa and the universe of P Valley. And I forgot to mention that last episode, but I'm really happy about the Big Frida cameo. Keyshawn is clearly getting more from her manager than Lil Murda is. She's getting chocolate covered strawberries. You know, like her rider is obviously laid. Here's what we learned, that Lil Murda is loyal to his homeboy who's doing his security. His name just fell out of my head. Please forgive me. It's been a long day. Because he handled a situation for him when they were in jail, right? But you can't just be hiring dudes who are fresh out to be your security. I don't know that that's always going to go great for you, because this person is going to, you know what I mean? Like, they haven't been ushered back into society in a positive way. So you're going to take them straight out of jail and right into like the club life, the road life, or whatever, and give them permission to be violent with other people. It's just not a great idea. But I do understand wanting to put your homeboy on, wanting to put some money in their pocket, you know, once they get out. Not a great idea, because he basically almost kind of starts a gang war with this guy who, I don't know if you guys caught that, apparently that guy is about to be maybe like a competing rapper from a competing gang. And did y'all see how Keyshawn's manager kind of looked at the time? Like, he was like, wait, what's going on here? That's a storyline that we're going to see unfold. But when the fight broke out, I was like, oh God, this is going to be the end of Lil Murda, or this dude gonna get shot. Like, I was so terrified the whole time. Keyshawn is hilarious though. Like, I'm sorry, Keyshawn is such a bird, and it's just so fun. And I don't say that in a pejorative way. I think I don't really like people who aren't a little bit of a bird. You have to be a little bit of a bird to be fun, as far as I'm concerned. Keyshawn is such a bird. I really love the moment in the hotel room between Lil Murda and Keyshawn, where Lil Murda is trying to think of ways or what he's going to write on Uncle Clifford's postcard. And they're both having this moment of vulnerability about love and, you know, what they desire. And Lil Murda really loves our girl Uncle Clifford, and I just wish that there was a world where they could be more openly in love, you know. Meanwhile at the Pank, okay, so Uncle Clifford and Autumn Haley come to an agreement finally of what the percentage split is going to be for the club. Okay, great. At least we have that out of the way. Big Bone has now been promoted to DJ, but she cannot stop shaking her ass. And it's like, sweetie, that's not what you're here for. So Mercedes is being replaced by Whisper and Roulette, who are doing bumps of coke in the bathroom as the featured dancers, while Mercedes is healing, recovering. Can we talk about Uncle Clifford on the pole? I was so excited. Our girl shut it down. And I love the level of acceptance that Uncle Clifford gets in this community. It makes me really happy. And that's something that I would love to see more of in our community. So they still running perks, okay? And there's a little moment between Roulette and Duffy where he thinks that he wants to get back with Gidget, but he did kind of kill her mama by giving her COVID. Is Gidget going to come back? Anyway, these are subplots, but Roulette sees that they're running perks, and she is coming back from making a play of her own. So I guess, you know, she's on board. Roulette is about that life. Roulette is about that life. I don't know where this is going to lead, but I saw the look, and we'll see where this goes. Are we going to get some more of Roulette's backstory? How did we end up here, Roulette? And why are you so rude to Mercedes for no reason? This pastor's annual chicken brunch, lunch with these church mothers walking around serving these pastors, I felt triggered. And I was curious, was the chicken draw for real, or was Patrice Woodbine just being an asshole because she's an asshole? The acting here, just, sweetie, laying it on thick. Anyway, so Interim Mayor Kyle is there to solicit votes for himself, for the referendum, so that the Promised Land can come and this casino can come and all of the things. He's trying to get these Black pastors to get their parishioners to vote for him and in so many ways implies that it's going to pay off for them financially if they do so. Patrice Woodbine ain't with it. She's very vocal about the fact that she's not with it, and ultimately she ends up getting her church shut down, and I don't feel bad for her. I'm not invested in either of those people. I'm hoping for her downfall. It's what she deserves. Screw her. Another thing too that made me uncomfortable, I fear that Autumn Haley is corrupting Uncle Clifford to get her on her side of considering the money more than the girls. Because Uncle Clifford was like, even if we sell, where are these girls going to go? And Autumn Haley is like, why is that your concern? I really don't like that bitch. That really solidified it for me. I really don't like her. And I felt like she was convincing Uncle Clifford a bit too much that like that was an okay way to proceed with things. This is home for some of those girls. Uncle Clifford is their house mother, you know. That frustrated the shit out of me. Corbin and Andre are discussing their options, and Corbin tosses it out there that Andre should run for mayor. Meanwhile, Andre's poor wife is being a frontline hero during COVID, and Andre is out here just parlaying. And he's just the worst. He's the worst. Andre is the worst. But Corbin says that he's just crazy enough to foot the bill for Andre's campaign. Now, I am excited to see how that would turn out, to have the former mayor's godson run against Interim Mayor Kyle. And a part of me does want that for Andre, but what about his good black wife who had a patient coding while he's getting drunk on a school night? I'm fed up with him. Anyway, things are heating up. I'm excited to see where the rest of the story goes. We see that Uncle Clifford has been collecting and saving all of the postcards that Lil Murda has been sending her. And I loved it because that means that the door is still open for their romance. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Slide in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, join my Patreon, and send me a coin. Otherwise, the Mercedes option is looking like an option for me. See you guys next time.